vroom, vroom. Yeah. So here we are then, podcast number 2. Hello, thank you, welcome back. Hopefully you are all well. I am still in a sling, I am still bored, and I am now recording a second podcast, which is amazing. So quick little update. Everything's going really well actually. So saw the physio, getting quite good movement back. Stitches are predominantly out apart from one. Hasn't quite closed yet, but it's fine. Yeah, so it's all going all right. It's not as painful anymore either. I just got to keep it in the sling, which is fine, and is part of the healing process for it. So that's okay. Mentally, I'm still as frustrated as ever. I get bored, can't find things to do, can't afford the Lego habit. Yeah. So that's challenging in itself. But you know, just kind of getting on with it really. So it's all right. Family have gone away for the weekend up to see my sister-in-law, taken the dog, miss the family, miss the dog, being left with a shouty cat. So that's about it really. But yeah, been on some nice walks around the local area. Cautium's quite pretty. It's all right. But yeah, it's been good. Just kind of settling into it all really, and trying to keep spirits up because I'm missing my normal outlets. But yeah, it's okay. It's good. So anyway, before we got basically one person asked a question out of the 58 that have watched it, which is all right. You know, I'm quite pleased with that for my first go. The great Tommy Barnez, no less. He is someone that rides motorcycles and reviews them quite regularly. I'll pop a link into his channel down below. Click like and subscribe and stuff. Yeah, if I could work out how to do the button thing and I had other content, I'd do that too. So, but I can't. So it is definitely a learning curve. So yeah, but anyway, Tommy Barnez, Landon geezer, looks like Pitbull, no less. He's asked for a tour of the room, which I thought I would do for you today. It's a shithole, in the sense of I organised chaos. I don't know. Probably not. But I kind of know where everything is. It's not as set up as it could be, but you know it works. So I'm going to switch to the GoPro. Sound quality probably won't be quite as good. It might be better. I don't know. And we'll have a little look around, and I'll talk about some of my bits and pieces that I've got in here. A lot of this, I'm basically, you're about to discover that internally I'm quite a geek. I like my sci-fi music. That wasn't me farting, that was the pedal board with my shoe against it under the desk. But yeah, I'm like my sci-fi music-y sort of geeky comic book stuff. So yeah, I'll take you for a little tour and we'll see what you think. Chin chin. OMG. So, like I said, this is organised chaos. As you walk through the door, you get my abundance of snare drums that I have. I have less, I've sold a few recently, but these are snare drums, make different sort of tonal changes and are quite important to have a nice array, I think. That way you can adapt and make sure that you're fitting the right sound and tone of the music. So, which is pretty cool. And there's my Benny Greb. I think, unless he's over there. But yeah, very adaptable. So this is where I keep and store my other drums that are not being used currently in the studio. So it's quite a pile of black cases, unfortunately. But it works, you know, it works quite well for me. Red Hot Chili Peppers, most influential album in my life, I reckon, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. It was at that point that I thought to myself, this is what I want to play. This is how I want to play. And yeah, Chad Smith, props, absolute machine, wonderful drummer, fully love the band. So as we're on this side, we'll just keep going down. This is my Wasabi kit that I don't use for Wasabi so much anymore. My youngest has taken up the drums, so this is his kit. It's not, the ride cymbal's normally over to the right, but I had to put a mic stand in there, which was not that easy, so I moved it out. We have a Boba Fett sticking his head through the wall. That was a gift from my kids for Father's Day a few years ago, I think. So this is the geekiness I was telling you about. This is my workstation. As you can see, it's a hub of absolute chaos, but I know how it all works, and it all works for me. So you have your Mac over here with a slave monitor off the front of it. As you can see, it's all set up with Logic, which is how I record my sound. I'm sure there are better ways of doing it, but it seems to work quite well so far with my massive experience of one podcast. Lights, they came from France, from Fontainebleau. There's a lovely place, Fontainebleau. It's a wonderful place to go climbing. Lots of bouldering, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so the white iPad controls the mixer, which is here. And this mixer is a Behringer. It's fantastic. Everyone's saying, Behringer's a bit cheap and nasty. It's copies of everything. Do you know what? I've had this mixer since I've had this drum room, so about 3-4 years. Probably longer now, about six years. And it's never let me down. I've recorded loads of stuff through it. I've used it in live settings. Do you know what? It's absolutely brilliant. So the iPad to the left of the mixer controls it. There is no switches or dials on it. It's all done digitally. It is fantastic and it works a treat. Below it you have a bass amp, which I use to DI straight out of and record through that. Gives better tonal sounds for the bass. And below that is a headphone monitor unit, which is great. MIDI keyboard for my massively limited skills on the keys, and it works brilliantly and links in with Logic. Yeah, perfect. KRK Rocket 6, essentially budget monitors, but they work a treat for me, so that's all I need. The Beatles. Took me a long time to come to the Beatles. I didn't really get it at the start, if I'm being honest with you. And then I heard Sergeant Pepper, the actual tune, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I think I could get into this. And that was it. That was my gateway into the Beatles. I'm still trying to get into the Stones, which upsets a lot of people. So come around here. This is my recording kit. This is pretty much set up all the time. It's a Yamaha Recording Custom. Geeky Tom Tech. It's 10, 12, 14, 20-inch bass drum, piano black, very gad, with a huge Recording Custom snare. That's a 14 by 8. Yeah, it's a great sounding kit. Works really well for me. It's a fairly new edition actually. Got it from the lovely boys over in Drum Depot in Cardiff. A good bunch of lads. For all your drumming needs, if I'm being honest with you, they are pretty solid. So I'd go and check them out if I was you. I'll put a link to their website below just in case. Yeah, see what they think. But I play predominantly minor cymbals. Ignore the Sabian that's snuck in there. That's my favourite ride of all time. I do use a few different minor rides, but if I could pick only one ride to ever own, it would be the Sabian HHX Groove Ride 21-inch. It is an absolute beautiful ride cymbal. So yeah, so nice little array of cymbals. Yeah, I really like mine. They fit with my sound. Down here, you see my Porter and Davies. Not actually set up at the moment because I use the Porter out rehearsing and gigging mainly. So it's just been sat down in there, and I've got a nice rock and sock which I use for my practice room. Yeah, and then we move around to here. Now this is probably where it might get a bit more interesting for everyone. So Star Wars, God love it. George Lucas never knew what he had when he created the first film. And then subsequent films went on and it proved he didn't really know what he had. But you got to love it for what it is. So yeah, so I have on here a tuk-tuk. This is from Thailand. We had a nice family trip there. It was amazing. Took the kids diving, which was such an experience for them. Next to it is a birthday present from my kids again, which is the what's the show? Penny, Howard, Leonard, Big Bang Theory. There we go. Which is, yeah, so you see I like my Lego. Then I have a bobblehead Groot. Now the difficult thing is I'd like to make these all bobble for you, but I only have one arm, and that arm is currently holding the camera. And then we have a little Yoda. As you can tell, I like my bobbleheads. We have a Deadpool reclining. We also have a waving cat, because everyone, and I mean everyone, needs an ostentatious gold lucky cat in their life. He's waving. I have a bobblehead Pope. This came from Rome. Very pleased with that. I have an Ecto 1 and old Ghostbusters characters, all out of Lego. This is from my kids. My kids are legends in their own rights. We have a Jeff Goldblum and a, what do you call them? Velociraptor. Yeah, bobbleheading. Batman bobblehead. We have another Deadpool. Behind Deadpool you can see the Queen. She waves when the sun's on her. But below that is the pinnacle of bobbleheadness. We have a bobblehead Deadpool. If you do not know who Bob Ross is, you need to go and work it out. He makes the most relaxing videos of painting.
Okay, titanium white, we'll just use the old 2-inch brush, what the heck. Let's build just a happy little cloud.
It's awesome. So yeah, so that is that. You're probably wondering what these two stones are. So, do you remember in the last video when we spoke about it, I talked about how Val di Mello in Italy was one of the most amazing places to go and spend time and go climbing. So, this one is from Val di Mello. It's at the base of one of the cliffs there. It was just there, and I picked it up and took it home with me. And then when I went to Yosemite for the first time and only time, I did the same there. So this one's from Yosemite, and this one is from Val di Mello in Italy. So yeah, massive amounts of stuff and crap and leads and symbols that don't get used that often. Yeah, and let's just move back over here so we can get a bit more of a look. So I have a Martin guitar acoustic in the case, which is beautiful. I pull it out every so often and use it for recording. Actually, it's in the house currently, if I remember rightly. I have a lovely little old custom Telecaster. It was made by a guy called Alex who lives in Cornwall. I think he's called Ace Guitars or something like that. So I got him. It didn't cost me very much, but I just wanted a nice guitar that had nice action and adaptable sorts of sound. So it's got, you can split the coils to make it a single coil at the neck and things. So it's quite adaptable. My pride and joy, my jazz bass, in the classic sunburst with tortoise shell. Absolutely adore that guitar. That's a wonderful guitar. Possibly the worst acoustic guitar in the world. But it was my first nice acoustic guitar, so it's remained, and I don't know why it's still here, but I never like to throw away an instrument because that seems completely wrong. And that's about it really. That's an entire loop of the room, and I think that brings us back to Led Zeppelin, which again, quite late to it. Didn't really get it at first. I think it was the production of the albums. It was like, oh man, it's like, you know, when you're 15, it's like, oh man, that sounds old. Oh, that sucks. And then you get past it, and then you suddenly like, oh God, no, I get this now. This is like the songwriting, musicianship that John Bonham, the right foot of John Bonham is just insane. The whole of John Bonham is just insane. Wonderful player. So, but yeah, I think that's it really. Thank you. I'll take you back to the normal camera now. So there you go. There you have it. Stuff from my journeys, stuff from music, stuff from bands I like. Yeah, this is like. So, my wife said to me, when we were building the extensions, I thought this was the point that my wife finally understood me, and she said, I think it's really important that we keep the money together and we sort it out and we build you this drum room. She goes, I think, you know, it should be a priority and this is what we should do. At which point, like I said, I'm thinking, she gets me. This is it. This is the moment where we've reached in our relationship where we get full understanding of each other. And as I was about to like complete that thought process, she replied with, so you can put all your shit in it. Which I think, you know, in hindsight is a fair assessment. But, you know, it is what it is. It is all my shit. And I'm very proud of my shit. And I'm so proud of it, I keep it all locked in a room. So, anyway, thank you all very much for watching again. I'm not really sure how this is going. Feedback is always welcome, as they say. Please don't roast me. But you know, if roasting is deserved, roasting should happen. But yeah, if you'd like me to expand on anything from the first or from this, let me know. I was thinking about doing a bike check next, because I've never done that, and I am very pleased with my e-bike, my Specialized Turbo Canevo. Vroom, vroom. Yeah, so I might do that actually if the weather turns nice, because it is currently a shit show out there. So well, let me know what you think, and please feel free to give it a like and subscribe, and we'll see what we get, and hopefully I will see you all soon. Take care.